You know, sometimes you have those days where you set out to do one thing and then something comes along and it puts an idea in your head that you can't get rid of. Today is one of those days, and it starts off with a connection request from somebody called Elizabeth O'Neill, who is a kind of mentor for getting the best out of tech teams. And from there, I found a YouTube video that she'd done where she was basically saying that having super chickens within your organisation is destructive and a different sort of person gets more done. And she's referring to an experiment by William Muir where he took a whole pile of chickens, selected the 6 best chickens, and then measured the eggs that they produced for a certain amount of time, then put them together in their own pen, and found that as the generations went on, the chickens pecked themselves apart, or pecked themselves to death. And I kind of wandered away from this and thought about it, and it just keeps playing on me because I've had 33 years as either a technical director or a CTO, and in that time I have worked with 3 to 5 genuine super chickens, and I'm thinking to myself, the experience that's being described in this video, then I went off and did some research into super chickens, and I found a whole pile of web pages where people were just basically whinging really about the destructive nature of super chickens. And I thought, this doesn't match my experience of what it's like to work with people. So perhaps I have the definition of a super chicken wrong, in that maybe their definition of a super chicken is somebody who thinks they know it all. But having worked with people that actually know it all, I know that the experience is different. It's actually delightful. And most of us in IT owe our career to a whole bunch of super chickens that really did know what they were doing and gave us things like TCP/IP, gave us things like the internet. So when I reflect on William Muir's experiment, the first thing that comes to me is nobody was managing the super chickens. I mean, I know from my own experience, if you have a pile of good programmers in a room, you're going to get a pile of arguments. And if you're managing that team, it's your job to go and sort those arguments out. But what I also know is that when you get an exceptional programmer, they will do between 20 and 50 times more work than anybody else in the team. And when you go and look at their work, you can understand their work. So when they eventually leave the organisation, as they may do to go on to better things, at least you've got something that you can work with. It's not a bunch of code that's tied up so tight that you can't tell what the hell's going on. Anyway, I thought I'd quickly get this idea out that actually, if you have some super chickens, you should value them and you should manage them properly. And if you're having trouble with your super chickens, I can probably find a home for them.